Hi guys, welcome back to the Curly Reader. Today I'm going to share with you my top 5 middle grade reads of 2019. So in 2019, I read a little over 80 middle grade books total, which is a lot. And so I thought I would share with you my top 5 of all of the middle grade books that I read during the year. These are ranked in order from number 5 to number 1 being my favorite. So let's get started. In spot number 5, I have Bridge to Terabithia by Katherine Patterson. This is a book about these two little friends who make a fantastical world in the woods called Terabithia, and it's just about their friendship. And this book is super little, it's super short, but it packs a huge old punch in the gut. It made me sob. It is such a sweet book, and it is one that covers the topic of death. And in middle grade, I think it just covers it so well. It was one of the first books that really covered that topic in middle grade. It was written in the 70s, and so it was just, I loved it so much. So that was number 5. In spot number 4 is a historical fiction middle grade book, and that is The War That Saved My Life by Kelly Brubaker Bradley. And this is a story of a little girl with a club foot who lives in London during World War II. And when all of the kids are sent out of London into the country, she goes to live with this woman who might not necessarily want the kids living with them or with her. And it's just about their relationship. And it was so good. It really covers the topic of child abuse and anxiety related to that. And I think it was a very realistic depiction of anxiety in kids and how that affects their ability to accept love from others. And it was so good. I loved this book so much. I read this and the sequel both this year, but this one squeaked out the sequel by just a little bit. It's a fantastic historical fiction, even if you're not a huge middle grade reader. Just a really great book. In spot number 3, I have a recent read of mine, and that is A Boy Called Christmas by Matt Haig. This is one that I read in December over the Christmas holiday, and it is about a little boy called Nicholas who eventually becomes Father Christmas, and it's just his journey on how he gets there. And it was so good and so well done. It was funny, it was sad, and it was hope-filled, and it was just, it was so good. The whole premise of this is just all about hope and how hope can change your life. And it, so beautiful. It would make a really great read aloud. I'm planning on purchasing, this is the library copy, I'm planning on purchasing this and the other 2 books in this series for my kids for next year to read to them during the month of December, because it was a brilliant book. So that was number 3. In spot number 2, I have another historical fiction, and that is Sweep, A Story of a Girl and Her Monster by Jonathan Auxier. And this is about a girl called Nan, who lives in London in Victorian time period, and she is a chimney sweep. And I did not know anything about chimney sweeps before this, other than what I knew from Mary Poppins, which was not accurate at all. But this is all about Nan, and she's a chimney sweep, and it's a very dangerous job. And eventually she comes into possession of a little golem friend called Charlie. And it's just about the 2 of them and their adventure through London. And it was so good. This story was just so full of whimsy and love and being able to let go of things as you need to, and growth. And it was, loved this book. So good. So that was my spot number 2 for the year for middle grade. And then my number 1 book, middle grade book that I read this year that I absolutely loved, of course, is Until Tomorrow, Mr. Marsworth by Sheila O'Connor. And this is another historical fiction. It takes place in the 1970s, I believe, during the Vietnam War. It is about a little girl who has a paper route and decides to start writing letters back and forth to one of her clients who she has not met face to face yet, because he doesn't like to leave his house. And so she starts writing letters to him, and the entire book is written in letters. It's epistolary, and it's just about her expressing to him her fears about the war and how she doesn't want her brother to get drafted. And I feel like this book just did such an amazing job of showcasing the fears that children have during wartime and giving a voice to them, and how even though we may think that this isn't impacting them on a day-to-day basis, how their fears are real and their lives are being impacted in drastic ways. And it was amazing, amazing book. And it covers the topic of conscientious objectors, and it covers the topic of, just the draft in general, and war and violence and pacifism. And it was very, very well done. And I really just, this book just, I loved it. It was a great, great book. And so I highly encourage you to pick this one up as well. And that was my number one pick for the year as far as middle grade goes. So those were my top 5 middle grade of the year. If you have read any of these, I would love to know your comments down below. If you haven't read any of them, are you interested in them? And other than that, I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you stick around and subscribe. And until next time, see ya!